Hey. Hey, y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. Hey, y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. Whew, don't you love it when you get to show up in community just fully authentic? What I get to do to talk about today is the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully experience. It's partially why I was put on this earth. I get to talk about what you can do immediately to change the status quo. So what I'm going to share with you today, and again, this is something that through the National Black MBA Association, we won a little grant, and I'm donating my time and community to bring this to you all. So we're paying for individuals to go through a program that's called Positive Intelligence. It's positiveintelligence.com is where you can go to take this first little saboteur assessment is what we call it. So I'm going to go a little quickly through a document that is really kind of the week one, what people have been talking about has kickstarted their true transformation. I said that I would give you guys as much detail as possible. So I'm going to start today with some of that information so that anyone who wants to truly transform could say that they actually got to sit through a little taste of what others are getting at a deep dive level. So let me see if I can share my screen and let me know if that is, oh, yay. Okay, it's not very big. You can help me out with that? Let's see what I can do about that. Let me see if I can zoom it in. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm kind of scrolling right now, but what I wanted to do is just start right here. So you're going to get, this is what we said we were offering. Let's see how big that looks. Let's see. Can you make me smaller and make it, I guess that's fine. Can you read that? I don't think you can. See if you can make it a little bigger. Make me smaller. That might be all we have. I guess it's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. So what this says is there's a 6-week intensive practice that is required for you to truly change the status quo. We've talked before about when you want to change something, only 20% of that change is the information that you need to change. The rest of it is actually practice. It's actually the doing. So when we said this was based on neuroscience. The neuroscience of the brain says, yes, you can provide yourself with information to change, but the way you create new neural pathways, the way you actually transform is you practice and you do something with the level of regularity so it becomes your norm. And I'm actually, I can honestly say that I've been doing this. I was taking some people through a journey, but I'm like, I need to have a journey too, right? I need to make sure I'm showing up, transforming myself. So there is a 6-week intensive practice that we've been taking people through. They're actually at week 5 right now. And it starts very simply, but it starts with this idea of boosting your self-command. So it's really understanding what does that mean exactly, right? Then we're going to work on week 2 is going to be a focus on weakening the judge. We talked about the various saboteurs. Weakening your other accomplice saboteurs is what would happen in week 3. And week 4, we focus on the sage perspective. And I've shared that many times. I'm going to share it every time. Because if you get nothing but the sage perspective out of this show, Better Together and Living Powerfully, if you get nothing out of this, all you need to know is that any situation or circumstance, we can go as far as to say any problem can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. That's the sage perspective. So it's important to start there. Like they really introduce it heavily in week 4. You need to start there. Right. Understand that the reason you're minimizing your saboteurs, the reason you're saying I want to focus on boosting my ability to self-command, it's because you know that everything's gonna work out. It's all gonna work out for your good. There's gonna be a gift in whatever is happening. So you don't have to act up. You don't have to, be triggered or respond outside of your, best intentions. That's what the sage perspective is about. Kind of creates a space for you to pause and really realize, if this is true, then I can show up differently. This idea of the empathize power, there's 5 superpowers. Empathize happens to be one of them, which we talk about in week 5, and in week 6, we talk about the navigate and activate powers. There's 5 superpowers, and in theory, they really review 3 of them. I actually start people pretty early on understanding what those 5 superpowers are, so that you can work through the process. So I'm just going to keep moving, but just know that this is a 6-week process. And what we do in week 1 is we focus on how do we boost your self-command muscle. And it is a muscle. It's like any other muscle. You have to practice. And we do something called PQ reps, or positive intelligence quotient. That's what PQ stands for. It's reps. It's establishing a routine, right, of starting the day with a 2-minute focus. 2 minutes. That's where you start. 2-minute focus. And then you take these 2-minute PQ breaks, PQ rep breaks throughout the day. Like every few hours, you're kind of like raising your tolerance level, if we had to use a term, your resilience level, your ability to truly thrive no matter what's happening around you. So you create the PQ, the sage, you create your superpowers basically through what we call PQ reps, or positive intelligence quotient reps. That's what PQ is. So it's a routine. And I started with 2 minutes, and that's what they tell you to do. Right now, I'm up to 30 minutes a day. Woo! When I say peace and calm, no matter what's happening around you, that's what you get when you practice. And you have to start somewhere. So we start with 2 minutes, a 2-minute focus. And you do that every few hours, right? And when you think about a PQ rep, it could be as little as 10 seconds of focused attention on one physical sensation. Does that make sense? Like literally, it could just be breathing. 10 seconds. So I say 4 breaths in, hold it for 4 seconds, or a count of 4, whatever that looks like to you. And then exhale slowly for another count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10 seconds. That's all it takes. That's one PQ rep. 10 seconds. And you can do it through breathing. You could be like, okay, I'm just going to pause. I'm going to look at, like right now in my bedroom, I have a fireplace, a fake fireplace, but it's a fireplace nonetheless. And I'm looking across at that, and I could just pause and just focus on the flame. That's like, bam, like a laser focus. So believe it or not, that's what it takes for you to be able to self-command. When things are happening, what happens is things happen and we just go along with whatever feelings might come up for you, whatever thoughts might come up with you. But a PQ rep says, you know what, I practice self-command. I practice the pause on a regular basis. So this 10 seconds, I know it sounds insane, but it's strengthening your PQ brain just by pausing, just by focusing on something. I have a bird feeder, a hummingbird bird feeder outside of my window from my bedroom, which is where I'm at right now. And also in my living room, my dining room area, which is, my second office. But it looks out on my garden, which is gorgeous. And I have another feeder, hummingbird feeder there as well. Multiple times a day, early in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evenings, I get these hummingbirds. And just honestly, taking a moment to look out at a hummingbird. Look outside at the trees, the leaves blowing. How relaxing can that be? For 10 seconds, 2 minutes. It's just a pause. It's really as simple as that's where you start to create the power of the pause. It's so beautiful, but it is intentional, right? It's intentional. And I'll talk a little bit about when I say the intention. I'm gonna make this a little bit larger. Hold, please. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. Hopefully this is helping. There you go. Let's see how that looks over here in the live. A little bit better. Okay. So what this is this is the neuroscience of habit formation. The neuroscience, right? So if you were in a position where you wanted to change something, the event is every time, say I don't have children, but every time my child comes home late, I freak out. I yell and it doesn't represent what I want. Or every time, somebody at work does something or says something, right? This thing happens to me, right? This, whatever it might be. That's the event. So whenever there's an event that occurs, right, where you would rather activate with a sage response. Sage means you're not letting a saboteur take you down a negative place. You want to respond positively. That's where there's an arrow pointing to the right to say, I just want to practice that. So that's why you practice it. So your brain is like, okay, I know what pausing looks like. And when I pause, I'm going to choose to breathe. That's activating the sage muscles in your brain. And I'm going to choose to do something differently. Now, what's exciting about this is we start this process by you saying, go to positiveintelligence.com and you're supposed to find it's called the Discover Your Saboteurs. So you get to go and find your saboteurs. That's just basically saying, hey, I see what happens when these negative things happen. These are my saboteurs, right? Controller, hyperachiever, avoider, could be pleaser, could be victim. It could be all kinds. There's 9 saboteurs. There's really 10, but the master saboteur is the judge. But there's 9 like accomplice saboteurs. And basically you get to identify yours. And when you see them, you're like, nope, I'm going to go over here. So we talked about this before, but I wanted to clarify, it is neuroscience. You're creating a new neural pathway. When you pause throughout the day, even though nothing big is happening, you're just practicing. You're saying, hey, I actually know how to pause, right? I get to go over here and breathe and choose joy, basically. So you're building your mental muscles. We call that mental fitness. You're creating new neural pathways, actually creating new neural pathways, because when they're used, your brain is like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? So this, I know it sounds simple, but we've said that you get to create the life of your dreams. I start every show by saying, you know what? We can help you to live your best life. We can help you to have your best, your most successful, and your most powerful year yet. We can help you to be your most successful you yet. This is it. This is part of it. This is a big part of it, right? It's the practice of. And honestly, I couldn't have sung this song as sweet as I can now because it's working for me. Like I have literally lost 22 pounds just by choosing to eat and drink differently. Hold please. I'm going to PQ drink. Okay? It's not a sip, it's a guzzle. And as I'm drinking, I'm saying to myself, building new neural pathways. I call it a PQ power prayer. Like I brought the science, the neuroscience of the brain, but I brought it in and I've connected it to my spiritual journey. So I call it a PQ power prayer. When I eat, every time I eat and I'm chewing something, I'm like, Lord, help this food to be nutritional to me or nutritious to my body, and help me to release some excess weight. Like I'm not eating for the fun of it, I'm eating for nutrition, but I'm also saying, help me. And when I drink water, I'm saying, Lord, help this water to fully hydrate my body and help me release some excess weight. I'm being very intentional. So when I tell you I've lost 22 pounds, just being more intentional, and I ate sweet potatoes and all the things, but I ate them very intentionally. The other day, I swear to you, the other day I was at the airport and I'm trying to do this work to get sponsors for this work, by the way, for the National Black MBA Association. So I went to a conference and I ordered a hamburger, right? I couldn't eat the whole thing. I didn't eat dinner the night before, not really, because I was packing. I was deciding, yeah, I'm going to definitely go. And I got to the airport and it was like lunchtime, early breakfast, late breakfast, early lunch. I literally, because I was PQ chewing, eating, breathing, I wasn't hungry, right? I chewed, I ate, I enjoyed the bites that I had, and then I was just done. It's happened like 10 times in just the last few days, right? Where I'm like, I'm out and about, I could eat what I want, but I'm like, I'm good. One little bite of a key lime pie, and I was like, okay, it's not very nutritious, right? So I'm like, I couldn't even do a good PQ prayer, right? So once you start to decide this is my goal and you really want to laser focus on having an outcome, right? That is aligned with your goals, then you get to talk yourself into it. You get to create these events. Every time I put something in my mouth, it's an event. I get to decide what does that look like. If I'm saying, oh, I want to lose X amount of weight, guess what? I'm going to enjoy the journey. I'm going to do it and I'm going to enjoy the process along the way. So I just wanted to clarify, it is neuroscience. It is about building neural pathways. It is about building these mental muscles. So it does have the science to it. It's also about you showing up and actually being committed to a goal. So there's a weekly video that introduces the topic for the week. And the sessions are critical because it's basically high level, where we talk about this exercise that you're going to do. But it also prepares you to then do 15 minutes a day at some point, either app guided or, like I just said, watching a fireplace, looking at the birds outside, watching the leaves blow, drinking your water, taking your shower. Like I take a PQ shower every day now. Loving up my body, rolls and all, y'all. Love it. Drinking, eating, all of the things. So it's like brushing your teeth, being very intentional, right? So sometimes we go through life almost asleep. You know how you drive somewhere and you're like, I don't remember getting there? Same thing happens with other things. Well, you can make any event, any situation, a moment where you get to decide, I'm going to practice being very, very present in this moment. That also contributes to your PQ, your positive intelligence quotient. It prepares you, right? It creates a new level of activation for you. It creates a new level of engagement so that you actually minimize the voices of your saboteurs, right? And you increase the superpowers of your sage just in those quiet, pausing moments of choice. And the beautiful thing is there is an app that allows you to go through every day, right, and kind of work through the process. Weekly, there's 1 hour video, 1 hour in an entire week. And then there's an expectation that you're going to do something every day, right? That's the work. No one can do that for you. right? And if you decided, hey, I want to do this, but I'm not ready yet, no problem. Get ready. Because once you get started, right, we're creating a space for people to do this later. But if you start something, we want you to be committed. If you're not ready, don't take a space, right? Don't take a space from someone else who might be ready. That's the truth. But there is the beauty in being able to do a couple of things, right? We say there's an app that will support you. It's about the daily practice. So there's a focus, a 2-minute focus. And we talk about you starting your morning with something. You know, people talk about these affirmations. So if you wanted to start a business, or you're in business and you want to be more successful, or you want to go back to school, or whatever you want to lose weight, or you want whatever the things are that you choose, you want to be a better parent, a better wife, a better husband. You want to, right, whatever it is, whatever your goals are, start your morning focused on that goal, something about that goal that's going to create a space for you to believe that you can accomplish it, right? In this case, the app happens to give us various focus topics that are 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and it's typically it's customized based on you, whatever you identified as a part of your saboteur assessment. So that's the beauty of this. It is customized. But the concepts apply no matter what you're doing. Even if you're not in the app, the concept applies. It says basically every day, wake up and focus on whatever your goal is. Start your morning with an affirmation that says, I am, whatever it is. Like, I am fit Traci, by the way. I need to lose 100 pounds, but I'm fit Traci, y'all. Fit Traci knows what fit Traci needs to be doing. This is how I be different, right? This is about being different, not about doing. It's about embodying. So become, we talked about the transformation, the butterfly that becomes, the caterpillar that becomes a butterfly. This is that work. No one can do it for you. You become it because you're being it. You're doing it. You're allowing yourself to focus, right? To have a daily focus on something, even if it's the words that are coming out of your mouth that says, I am, bam, I am beautiful, right? Whatever it might be. I am fit. I am focused, right? I am surrendered to my higher power. I'm doing this because this is exactly what I was meant to do, right? So having a daily focus is important. There's something called Coach Challenges, which for you, it's really more about counting down. Like every 3 hours, you should try to be doing something, like a 2-minute break, a 2-minute refresher, something that gives you back on track so you don't get lost in the day. You know what? I am focused. I'm fit Traci. So you're not going to get too tired. You're not going to get, stressed out so that by the end of the day you forget and then you go have some ice cream and some potato chips. No, Fit Traci is Fit Traci throughout the day. I remind myself how important that is to me, how divine my temple is, right? This is connected to my divinity. So think about that. Like, you can coach yourself, challenge yourself throughout the day. And we say every 3 hours because, you can charge yourself up with these PQ reps, right? It does charge your brain. It charges the PQ side of your brain, and it minimizes the negative thoughts and the negative talk. But because we're human and we keep going through the day, right? You need to refuel. So that's what this is. Every 3 hours, do 2 minutes. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, y'all. It's not. Breathing and reminding yourself, that's the practice. I am fit Traci, right? I am meant to help others to accomplish their goals. I am meant to help others, right? I know what I was meant to do. So this is beautiful that you can challenge yourself. And again, it only takes a few minutes, 2 minutes. And if you question whether or not you have the time, your saboteurs are going to try to convince you otherwise. And we're basically saying, don't let them win. You can do 3 times in the middle of your busy day. It's critical, right? And we can talk about some, I think there may be some slides in here that talk about the science of it, right? Like when things might hijack you, depending on where you've invested in yourself, you're raising your bar, your ability to be more resilient. Just by breathing. Right? It's critical. It's critical. We didn't say this part, but I wanted to make sure I was slowing down enough for you to realize it's so important. It's not about just learning some things. It's about doing some things. They've gotten this down to a science. It's 30 QPQ reps is what they call it, right? And in the app, it calculates it for you. You can go into the PQ gym, which is what they're showing you here. You can do these guided audios, but it's not required. It's just a nice, awesome way to do it, but it's actually not required, just so that you know. You can be learning some PQ. You can be practicing PQ. Read the book, right? It's great to do this. It's great to do it this way, right? Because then you're also doing it in community. I just want to be clear, it's not required. It's not required. Start and you see what benefits you're going to get, right? And I love that one. The beautiful part of the app is really cool. You do unlock new features in the app after you've done certain things, right? You focus on one muscle at a time, and then you'll have various new things, new features that are unlocked for you in the app. So it is really cool. And I love this reminder, right? The reminder basically is very, very simple. You are declaring war on your saboteurs, and they fight back, right? So remember I said you start by going to positiveintelligence.com. Halfway down the page, you'll see something that says discover your saboteurs. You take this 5-minute saboteur assessment. Again, you can email me the results. I'm happy to talk through it with you, but the results are very clear, right? They give you a number associated with the various saboteurs. You read and you decide which ones, connect with you. Most people have said, yeah, I kind of see that. Yeah, I kind of see that. So your saboteurs, you will try to sabotage your practice. They're going to discover you. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to get stressed out. Whatever's going to happen, they're going to be like, you know what? You're too busy. You're never going to change, right? This program, it wasn't for you. Whatever it is, do not let your saboteurs win. This is those moments. Every moment is where you get to decide, you know what? This is for me. Let me see. I got to go up there. I got to go get my little... I'm part of the mastery program because I'm training people, like I'm getting people to train them so that they can train others in community. So we had to draw a diagram today, and it was beautiful because it was like, okay, you think about where you are and where you want to be. And you think about the journey, like where you at right now. We're halfway through this mastery program. And what's exciting is, every little step, every little decision, we're advised to celebrate, right? So you do have to watch out. You got to watch out for those saboteurs. That's why we start with them by saying, do you see them things? Do you see them? Do you see those things, the way we are, the controller, the hyperachiever, the whatever it might be, you're going to see them and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I see me, right? Just watch out. We identify them so you can see them. And it's just like, I see you. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to go do this. So that's really why we talk about it. We want you to pause. And then the other thing that's important is really each pod member is supposed to report daily to the pod. Like we want people to just connect, jump on. Hey, I'm in. What worked? What could be improved? Like really connecting. I've been a little faulty on this part, but kind of connect with people more one-on-one as opposed to bringing people together. I've created a bunch of time slots, and I realized I had to be a little bit more intentional about the planning in advance when people are available. But pod means a person, some other point of accountability so that you are not doing this alone, right? You want support. You want to be able to reach out to people to connect. And if someone hasn't, you want to agree that you are going to absolutely show up for yourself, right? And if you're in a pod, you want to agree to confidentiality. You're going to identify what your goals are, what your saboteurs are. And then you really want to stay connected, right? What might you do differently, right? How might your saboteurs try to sabotage you? You want to be prepared. That's kind of being proactive. Once you see your saboteurs, you're like, okay, right? This is what might happen. And so you kind of get ready for that. You decide that, nope, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop that. And so
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. Hey there! We got some beautiful programming here on Rainier Avenue Radio for your holiday season.
We have incredible programming right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So much to offer. Music, shows.
K-Fox Night Beat, Fresh Juice, mental health awareness for men.
Why change the channel? Just keep it locked in on Rainier Avenue Radio. Jazz from the Cabinets playing jazz music, and Star Time playing holiday music. We got a new show on the air as well.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
Weekend House Party.
And all of our other familiar programs as well.
The Reggae Hour, Phil Am Radio Show, and Midline Sports.
Along with our special A Christmas Carol.
It's an actual radio drama that was recorded by Rainier Avenue Radio hosts and staff, featuring the president of a large media company, visited by 3 ghosts, past, present, and future.
A Christmas Carol, a classic for us.
Bring in the holidays with your community radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio. This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, all jazz in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Celebrate the holidays in Columbia City at the Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, December 16th. It may be cold and wet outside, but you can shop till you drop inside of the Columbia City Theater. 4916 Rainier Avenue South at the Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., featuring a variety of unique one-of-a-kind items, many of them handcrafted by local vendors. There'll also be a performance by MVP, Michael versus Prince, which is an 8-piece tribute live band. There'll be a fire dance performance, DJs, and of course, a visit from Santa. It's the Holiday Marketplace, Saturday, December 16th, featuring vendors, music, food, fire dancers, right at the Columbia City Theater, and so much more. Hey, bring a toy down as well. We've got a toy drive going on to support Atlantic Street Center. All of this happening at the Columbia City Theater Holiday Vendor Marketplace, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, December 16th. We'll see you there.
On behalf of Rainier Avenue Radio.world and K-Fox Night Beat, we want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon.
Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not cooking up a batch of my famous wood-flavored chicken, I'm listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world.
Have you ever went over a friend's house to eat and the food just ain't no good?
Hey y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell, and do you know what I love most about this space? What I love most about just being here is I get to tell y'all the truth in such a way that allows me to feel like I am showing up in my full authentic self. So what we just went through was an overview of all the ways that you can show up differently in 2023, 2024, moving forward for the rest of your life, right? So when we talk about positive intelligence, I wanted to start with some of the science so that you know that it is scientifically proven to work. But we had a conversation today, which I thought was so powerful. And what we talked about was the spiritual aspect. And you might be like, tell me more. The fact that we can do something for ourselves that is both scientifically proven, and I'm amplifying the science because, that's just who I am. All right, science first, in the sense of how do you tell a story about something called positive intelligence without talking about the neuroscience of positive psychology, right? The origin of this work. I got to be able to tell you that it's scientifically proven. It's almost like, what is it called? AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. They say the 12 steps, and they say it works if you work it. And you are worth it. Did you hear me? It works if you work it. And you are worth it. I'm just going to pause and let that sink in. If someone was giving you a very, very simple roadmap for success, and they said, it works if you work it, and you're worth it. You're worth it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a personal journey because I want to make sure people understand that when Dr. Traci shows up, she shows up in her full authentic self. So let me explain what that means. Partially what that means is, when we think we got some solutions, it's important to not act like you have all the answers. Do you know what I mean? I have some solutions. I have some things that work. And what I want to tell you is that I am working it. So really, this invitation is for you to work it with me. Like whatever that thing is, with us, right? It's called the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully Experience, partially because we're inviting people to join us on this journey. Now, we have some people working it right now. And what I decided is some of the individuals are just, the stories are so powerful. We're collecting them and we're wanting people to have their full experience. To have an experience, they're showing up every week and they're talking about the things that they've learned and how they're changing. I love it. And we didn't want to put people on blast and be like, come on the radio, come tell your story. I can tell my story because I've been doing it longer than 6 weeks, right? I've been doing it for a while. So I can come in and talk about how I have benefited and how I can declare and swear that you too can benefit. You too can have a transformational experience. The fact that we say the Better Together Empowerment Series, join us for a transformational experience. You might be like, really? It works. It is guaranteed to work if you work it. Like it's the neuroscience of the brain, and you can't half work it and then be like, it didn't work for me. That means you didn't do the work, right? So when we talk about showing up for yourself, that practice is you deciding, right? That I'm just going to pause. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to choose joy during these stressful times. That's what you get to choose to do. And again, join me. We're doing it together. I'm only having success. Let me be clear. Success is my only option. So I've already been experiencing success. I expect to continue to experience success. So guess what I'm going to experience? Success. That's also part of the neuroscience of the brain, right? It's neuroscience, positive psychology, cognitive behavioral psychology, and performance science, right? So it's all four of those scientific methodologies, right? And it's aligned with how our brains are designed to work. There's something called the reticular activator in our brain. So it decides, if you've decided something is good, you're going to see the good. If you decided this is the worst thing that could have ever happened, you're going to see all the negative things. I'm not saying that you're changing the outcome. You're changing your perception of the outcome. And that allows you to be in a different mindset so you can attract, right? The law of attraction. So you can be in a better position. If you're stressed out thinking it's the worst thing that ever happened, that's not a creative mindset. It's just not. It's like, how do you gear yourself up? How do you set yourself up for success? This is what the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully Experience is about. It's setting you up for your most successful life, moment by moment, decision by decision. Does that make sense? Are you loving this right now? Because I love the pause. I love that we get to pause for just a minute and say, you know what? You get to choose the life of your dreams. We're talking about what it looks like. And again, I'll bring up some new slides next week. But if I don't break it down so that you understand, it does not matter whether you have an app or not. All you need to do is decide in the first thing in the morning. Let's start the day. Tell you what I do. First day in the morning, I think I'm grateful. I wake up and I share the gratitudes. And I don't just do PQ reps. That's what they call them. They call them PQ reps. Positive intelligence quotient is the term. I do what I call a PQ power prayer. It's the same thing as a PQ rep, except I bring Jesus into it. For me, I needed to do that for me, right? If I'm talking about drinking water and losing weight, right? They were talking about doing a PQ rep, and I'm just not used to doing a PQ rep the same way I'm used to praying. It can still be quick. Lord, help this food to be nutritional to my body. Hello. Help me to release some excess weight in Jesus' name we pray, amen. Quick. It's quick. But everything I put in my mouth, y'all, I'm literally saying those words. I eat less. I enjoy it more. I'm chewing more. I'm capturing the textures of the food and the flavors. Everything. I eat less because I'm chewing longer. I'm enjoying it more, right? Now, that's just an example. But if you were also thinking about again, how you show up at work or how you show up for your children, how you show up for your, other people in your life. And this is about improving your performance, your well-being. How do you feel? Are you letting stuff stress you out? Those saboteurs that used to hijack your time. You don't have to anymore. That's the gift to yourself. You don't have to let the saboteurs, those voices in your head that tell you that you're not worthy, that tell you got to get it perfect, that tell you, whatever those voices, you got to control other people because, that's the only way, being a controller. That's one of my saboteurs, right? Somebody has to do it your way or it's really not right. That's not true. It's not. It's just not true. Hyperachiever. I just got to do one more thing, add one more trophy, add one more certification. It's not necessary. So it's those voices that are telling you, and again, that's why you look at the saboteurs, so you can see them. When they show up, you're like, no, not today. You stay over there because I'm going over here. I'm going to go do this PQ rep. I'm going to get myself focused on doing what I know is going to help me to achieve my goal. Thank you. Over there. I'm going over here. That's the choices. And it's the practice of, so you don't have to wait till things are crazy. You get to practice it throughout the day, and especially in the mornings. They talk about you waking up in the morning and doing a PQ reps for 12 minutes. 2 minutes, actually. You start with 2. And then it goes up to 4 and 6 and 8, and you decide, right? 10. I do 30 minutes now, right? At least in the mornings. I'm going to start doing more throughout the day as well. But I definitely end my day that way as well. I end my day in gratitude. I'm grateful. I go to sleep thinking about, the goals that I'm achieving, not want to achieve, that I am in the process of achieving. I put my mind to going and activating, right? When negative things happen, I'm like, I choose not to lead with that. I'm going to go do this other thing, right? So that's what you also get to do in order to live your best life. A lot of us are actually getting a little stressed out about money. I assume I'm a money magnet now. And I'm giving my time away for free. And I can still say I'm a money magnet. Because when you're doing what you love, the universe will provide. And not only the universe, my divine creator will provide. Because I'm also surrendered to his will. We were talking about the scientific and then the spiritual. This is just Traci telling you, giving you some facts, dropping some nuggets, right? It's true. You get to show up in your full glory by making different choices. It's that simple. It's truly that simple. So here's my plan. I wake up 30 minutes. I wake up, if you got meetings or whatever, you just wake up early. You want to get your time in with you. And this is something I would have never admitted. That's why I said I have to be vulnerable. Hold, please. So I'm a very confident individual. I'm very smart. I know I'm smart. So there's no imposter syndrome ever, never, ever, ever, because I'm smart. Like I know God has blessed me there. I'm good. But what I didn't allow myself to realize is that I wasn't focused on self-love. And Debrina Jackson Gandy, she has a book called The Sacred Pampering Principles and Love Lies. But she's also a transformational coach. She's actually my transformational coach. Transformational coaches need transformational coaches, right? We do. Especially if you're trying to be a legit transformational coach. You got to be transforming yourself. So the fact that I have weight to lose, I'm like, oh my God, that's like the best transformation ever, because it's very physical. It's very visible, right? So as I continue to lose weight, and I do it in a way that is very sage and very calming, peaceful. It's like an ease and flow. I'm not like, ooh, dieting. No, just making good choices. I'm enjoying what I do. I'm PQing during each bite, doing a PQ power prayer or a PQ rep, whatever you want to call it, right? I call it a PQ power prayer. Because the power came from the prayer side, right? Like, Lord, help me. Surrendered, help me. So I have already lost. Like I said, I'll go get on the scale again this week, and I'll see what the numbers are. But it's beautiful. And the fact that I'm showing up like not hungry, that I can't finish a meal, it's crazy. That's when there's proof in the pudding. Seriously, like I have not been able to finish a meal, meaning a hamburger, fries. Barely could eat half the hamburger, right? Saved it. It was good the next day. I had some leftovers, a couple of I'm not that hungry. I'm eating slower. I'm enjoying it. I'm drinking lots of water. It's like, wow, this is like fantastic. So again, Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully Experience. It's not about weight loss. It just happens to be part of my personal journey, and I'm putting it out there into the streets, right? But we're also creating a space for you as an individual and you as an organization to actually create outcomes that are aligned with your objectives. If you want more revenue, if you want more clients, then you got to be focused. That's a different focus. It's a different intention. So we're going to line you up with what that looks like, how you do it. That's the other work that I do, right? I'm a transformational coach and a business consultant. So we can help you be very strategic about what that looks like as well. And you do it from a sage perspective, from a sage place, right? Sage means it's you're You're walking in your peace and your flow. You're using your positive energy. That's beautiful. And that's really what I've been able to do in my life and what I have helped others to do as well. There's a few people that have reached out to me and said, oh my God, the training that you did with me like 3 years ago. This guy literally said, I think of you every day. A Marine. His name is Mike Brown. I'll bring him on the show. I was like, really? Oh my God, that's so nice. He's like, seriously, like transformation can happen when you decide, when you think differently about something in your life. Maybe we call them limiting beliefs. When you think differently about your beliefs and you're helped to work through those limiting beliefs to transition the what and the why, everything changes, right? We've talked about the 5 primary drivers. So your beliefs dictate your thoughts. Your thought leads to your emotions lead to the actions or the inactions that you take, and your actions is what leads to the results. So if you want to change the results, you got to change the beliefs. You start at the root cause is the beliefs. So I believe I'm fit Tracy, right? This person believed something differently about himself than he had allowed himself to believe in the past. We work through that together. That's what transformation looks like. That's what we're able to do. And that's how we're able to help you as a transformational coach. And this 6-week program that we're offering in community through the National Black MBA Association, January is going to be the next official launch. And then 2/24/24 will be the following one for 6 weeks. So what's exciting is today is just the beginning. I'm supposed to advertise something, aren't I? I'm supposed to talk about some upcoming events that is happening at the radio station next week. Is there a flyer or something you want to share? There's a holiday event that's happening right downtown with, there it is. It's our festive Christmas vendor markets. Actually, it's happening today. Oh, no, sorry. The 9th. Sorry, it happened this last Saturday and the 16th. So it's happening next Saturday, the 16th. From 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's a special thing that's happening next Saturday as well with some musicians, Prince versus Michael or something like that. Michael versus Prince. Is that right? There's some fun things happening right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. And I want to say thank you again to Rainier Avenue Radio. This is public radio, y'all. That little thing that they have at the top, the Venmo for Rainier Avenue Radio. You know, at first I was like, I am so not down with that. Someone asked me if I was selling something on what do you call it? Shopping TV. And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, there was a Venmo at the top. There was a thing going across the bottom. I was like, look, this is public radio. And the gift that we are offering in community is $1,000 per person for this program. And we're offering this content and these lessons learned to you all for free. So I'm grateful to be able to, I'm donating my time and they're donating the airways. And so thank you to Rainier Avenue Radio. If you can contribute, by all means, we ask that you do so. And next on Rainier Avenue Radio is Live Sports, hosted by Pep and O. I actually met him. I was in the studio last week, and I met Pep and O. It was actually super fun. I got to meet the host before me and the host after me. I got to meet our super cool production manager, Daniel. So thank you, Daniel, for all of that. So next week, y'all, next Saturday, or this week, I guess this Saturday, the 16th, we're inviting you out to community to be a part of a wonderful festive Christmas vendor markets. Saturday, December 6th is going to be 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 4916 Rainier Avenue South. And I can't wait to be there. So I will be there. I will be joining the other hosts from the station, and we're going to have an amazing time and contributing to community. And we ask you to join us. So this is Dr. Traci Harrell. I wanted to do 3 things as I close. 1, I'm going to ask each of you to promise yourself that you are going to commit to doing one beautiful thing for yourself that shows that you love yourself, right? Self-love is a beautiful thing. And so what we're talking about here is how can you show up powerfully, wonderfully? How can you accomplish those goals that you've been talking about, maybe for years, maybe for decades? This is how you do it. It's called mental fitness. It's the practice of, right, mental fitness. So you get to decide, wake up every morning, choose new thoughts, right? You get to choose in the mornings, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you choose, right? Total 15 minutes in the day. You can do it all at once. You can do it throughout the day. But you just want to focus, breathe, focus on something physical, whether it's your breathing, looking at something, but it's that self-management. It's you being able to pause and choose differently. That's called mental fitness. And you may be like, that's it? That's the start of it, right? And then you also talk to yourself differently. You show up differently. You get to choose differently. It absolutely changes everything. And you won't know unless you do it. No one else's story is going to be your story. I know, listen, my success is I'm already, you know how they say that the journey is won? This battle is already won. I'm just showing up, walking it out. Because I'm committed to doing this. I'm committed to myself, and I'm committed to each of you. So I'm going to show up for you next week. Join us. We're going to go even deeper. We're going to talk a little bit next week about the sage superpowers. The sage superpowers. So what can you do differently? We've talked about some of the saboteurs. Next week, we're going to go deep on the superpowers. So in addition to the sage perspective, which is that everything can be turned into a gift or an opportunity, every situation or circumstance can be turned into a gift or an opportunity, right? But then we want to focus on those 5 sage superpowers. Engage. You're going to engage differently because you're going to have empathy, right? You're going to explore. You're going to innovate, navigate, and then you're going to activate. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, are your sage superpowers. Are you ready to have superpowers? Well, I'm excited. More to come with the Better Together Empowerment Series and the Living Powerfully Experience. This is about true transformation. Join us right here on Rainier Avenue Radio for more.